Welcome everyone, it's Vapor Strakemar. It's time for some more Raid Shadow Legends. We are going to be continuing up the Doom Tower, hopefully, with no other crazy things happening. Getting onto floor 90. Now, floor 90 is a very dangerous place. It's not the most dangerous in the whole tower, but it's like a turning point. If you can get past floor 90, you have a reasonable shot at the top, depending on how well you do. Because it's a decision point. So, we're gonna see that. I mean, this still is some of my most viewed content is Raid besides League. That's the thing. Raid is like second place. I mean, Elder Scrolls still gets some views, but for some reason it's not as popular. Which is a little bit annoying since Elder Scrolls is technically the better game in a lot of avenues, because Elder Scrolls has a lot of features and stuff that Raid simply does not have. Elder Scrolls also has a amazing, unbelievable amount of lore for those who are lore fans. Like Raid has lore, but it's not Elder Scrolls level of lore. It's not. It just isn't. Like, it's a lot of lore, but it's not Elder Scrolls level. Elder Scrolls takes lore to a whole new extent. Okay, yeah, these Trundas are going to be a problem. I can see it now. Okay, this is going to be hard. This is definitely going to be hard, especially with my current setup. Now you're like, why? Well, part of the problem is... Okay, you know what? We are going to put an armature in here, because I can't I don't think I can deal with this correctly without an armature. Why? Because I need to get one of these low enough. That I can block revive them. If I can get that, because that is what I need to do ultimately. Just to try to stop that from happening. The fact that these Trundas have increased attack on them is very painful, to say the least, because as you might imagine, increased attack on one of the heaviest damage dealers in the game. Not only that, the amount of RNG, the luck you need to pull a Trunda, and a and a Duchess is legendary. I'm out of luck. Like, I'm not even going to conceal this from you. If you have both, you've either played the game a stupid amount of time or you're stupidly lucky. Because it is phenomenally difficult, or you've wailed out really hard. And even then, if you did, you're probably very lucky to have that much money. Because I'm telling you, it's normally almost impossible to have both. Like, I can buy the fact that you might have gotten a Duchess in your travels easily enough. I can buy the idea that you might have a Sifi, maybe. I can buy that you might have a Trunda as a free-to-play. But to have a Trunda and and a Duchess at the same time is incredibly remote. Although it may eventually happen for me. All that has to happen is one of these days I get lucky 2 CVCs in a row and I get them. That's really all you actually need to happen. Needless to say, these Mountain Kings are brutal. Like, seriously brutal. Alright. We are definitely going to want to take the never mind. Oh, we're in for it now. Because the strengthen from these guys is going to be a nightmare. Okay, we have one out of the equation. I can't know if I'll get both out of the equation. But we have to try. At least they're getting provoked by and forced to focus the Drex, which in this case is okay. There's a reason I'm focusing the Whirling Frost Kings, yes. There's a reason I'm focusing him. I don't want this amount of strength on the enemy team. I have a feeling we still need this block revive on floor 83. Because I swear, the amount of revivers we're getting is starting to be very disturbingly high. Like, I mean disturbingly high. So... because of the disturbingly high amount of revivers, this is definitely going to be a problem. And this is definitely going to take a while to get through. At least they're getting the decreased defense on themselves. Which might give us a chance. Not much of a chance, but a chance. We can take at least one Vergus out of the equation, that would be wonderful. Because right now, having multiple Verguses in the equation at the same time is an extreme issue. Okay, good. He doesn't have a lot of resist. Now you're like, what is the influence of that? Well, when we lock his cooldowns, he cannot put up his ally protect. And he can't have anywhere near the amount of communal protection. Because that's ultimately Vergus' greatest strength, his communal protection. So you cut that out of the equation. He's a lot less powerful. Okay, yeah, we're definitely... No. We are definitely not letting that lady live. There's no way in hell. Because the problem is, if I let that Duchess live, we are in for a world of pain. Just likewise with this. We cannot let the Duchess live. The Duchess has to be the first to go. Because I cannot abide by that. Because she will revive these people, these cold hearts, and that... She will revive all of them ad infinitum. You do not want that. The control. Yeah. Dogpile that. Yeah, you do not want. Yeah, you don't want that. Okay. At least we can get gems from this. Because I need these gems for various content. Yeah. If you want to know who's going first, it's the Duchesses. 100%. See, these veils When they put this veil up, it's more than it looks. Because when they put the veil up, it's more to that veil than meets the eye. And the worst part is, the veil literally forces you to only hit those that are not within it. And that ultimately leads to some very serious complications. Especially with the provokes here, we've got a very bad situation. In fact, it's so bad, we actually have to replay this to get this done right. Which should give you an idea of how bad it was. Okay, perfect, perfect. There we go. There we go. One down. Get the lockdown. Because you have to get this lockdown, and you have to get the block revive. Because otherwise, like, you got one shot at it. You got one shot at that block revive. If you fail that, yeah, you're in for a world of pain. So that's why, in this situation specifically, you need Armiger. Now, in this situation, there is a different major threat here. The major threat is the Mortu. Because if you don't kill him fast, and control him fast, he will kick your butt real hard. So you want to do that. You see a Mortu, you either want to provoke him until you can kill him, or you want to control him with a stun or a turn meter decrease, get the decreased defense on him, and continue wailing on him while he's stunned until he's down. You do not, and I repeat, you do not want that Mortu to have any sort of free reign on your team. Because the second you do, it's off to Aetherius with you. Like, literally. Like, you are toast. You are so done. Sorry, I have, by block revive or not, I have to take that person out, that Duchess. Because every second that Duchess lives is danger. You're in the danger zone. Technically, we've whittled it down to just an Ignatius. Alright. Okay, here we're going to need something else. We're going to need Ugo. Because without Ugo, we're not going to be able to deal with the terror that is Krisk. I just wanted to check. Wait, no. We need Ugo here. Because I am not wanting to fight Krisk in any capacity without some form of block buffs. Because we are going to be here a very long time if I don't have something, anything, to stop the Krisk. To stop or to incapacitate. Because it takes a lot, by the way, to keep a Krisk incapacitated. Like, it takes a lot. You really do not want to know what happens when a Krisk is incapacitated. Not incapacitated. Like, Krisk can keep your team occupied for a very, very long time. So that's why you want to get as much of these block buffs up as possible on these higher waves. Because you can be here for hours. I'm not exaggerating. You can be here for hours trying to beat these without block buffs. Like, this is why you want block at least one champion in the higher level of Doom Tower with block buffs. For this exact reason. Because you will literally be here a very long time and potentially just lose without block buffs to stop the incessant amounts of healing and shields and defense that's in here. That's why you need an AoE block buffs is preferred, because most of them have very large team shields and very large AoE counterattack like Valkyrie or Martyr. Which can be nearly impossible to get through if you don't have something to shut that down. The reason I'm focusing him specifically, this Lord Shazar, is those bombs do a lot of damage. So it would be preferable if we get those bombs out of the equation early on. Now that Krisk has his skills locked, we can now safely focus him without any fear of ridiculous amounts of retaliation. Because normally, when that's not down, he can put Ally Protect and then continuously provoke, as well as put increased defense, and you could literally do almost nothing about it if you didn't put block buffs on him in the first place. So that is ultimately why you want to do that. What do we got? We could give it a go, but it's still difficult. At least this time. We have a chance. Because we have a fully decked out for rockin'. And we don't just have an occult brawler. Because the problem with occult brawler is he does no damage. And that, like, in terms of, he does no wave damage. It's not like he doesn't have, it's not like he doesn't have, poison damage, but he's terrible versus wave content. So because of that, he's not great versus these mobs. Some of these mobs in here are really nasty. So if you don't have someone who does reasonable amounts of damage, you're in for a very bad time. As well as decreased defense. I wanted to get rid of at least one of these Crimson Helms, because Crimson Helm is a massive pain in the butt. And if you don't deal with Crimson Helm early on, she becomes a massive menace. Now, this might seem undoable at first, but you see, we have some of the tools to do it now. It's just going to be a bit slow. The main thing is we have to get Vergus out of the equation in this situation. I know I have his Vergus in play, but I have to get their specific Vergus out of the equation. See? That ally attack from Farrakhan allows me to do that. Because only with the combined forces of everyone can I really do the damage I need to a specific target. Because yes, I have decreased defense, but will that take out that guy? Of course not. Of course it won't. And that's why I need Farrakhan. In fact, I'm going to put ally protection specifically on Farrakhan to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. Because it's vital that he stays alive here. Because he's our only real DPS threat. So, ultimately, that's why we have to try to keep him alive at all costs. Also, in this case, we want to get rid of this towering titan at all costs. Why? Because this towering titan will decrease our max HP until we're done. So that's why he's a priority. Next priority target. This guy. This Jingle Hunter. Why? Because he's gonna damage my team and potentially ruin my only damage source. Okay, now any of these is fair game. Ease Vergus is fair game. So we're going to continue to compress and whittle away these Verguses. We'll start with the one on the right because we've taken more damage on him. Out of the equation. Now it's just him. Even if he dies, which I'm gonna try to make sure he doesn't, but even if that guy, the cult brawler, dies, the main thing is that Farrakhan has made it far enough into the equation where he can truly take out the major enemies that we need him to take out. Get that beat down. Perfect! Vogoth was also involved. In that equation. Let it not be forgotten. I might do a farewell run for Build B on Avion 1 before I do the expert run. I might do a farewell run. And it's going to be hardcore, which means I am not allowed any game overs. So we're going to want that. Okay, that doesn't help. At least she doesn't get the counter attack, which is helpful. Because, like I said, the team counterattack is really annoying. Although, to be fair, if I had to choose between Martyr counterattack to face and Valkyrie, I would choose Martyr every time. Why? Because Valkyrie has a much more annoying shield. Like, when Valkyrie gets a counterattack off, you're in for a world of hurt. Because that counterattack has a massive shield attached to it and a massive amount of damage. And that, you don't want to know how hard that is to deal with. Like, sure, Martyr's a pain, but she's not as much of a pain as when you have to deal with a shield, stupidly huge shield. It's like, why? Just why is there this much shielding? And you're just stuck there looking at the shield like, yeah, this is gonna be a lot of block buffs and a lot of effort. I'm gonna be stuck here a very long time getting to get through this. Like, that's literally what the martyr effect, I mean the Valkyrie effect is. Like, there's a reason I strongly dislike having to face Doom Tower Valkyrie. It's one of the worst possible things to face in the whole tower. I'll just stick with this setup for now. Of course, they've got freaking Harvest Jack. Of course they do. You're like, what's the significance of Harvest Jack? Well, he puts a lot of true fear on everything. And he does a lot of damage. And he's also very difficult to kill, which is even made worse by the fact that the block buffs didn't hit everything. So now, all of that, okay, I've got that out of there, the equation. Because Harvest Jack is a pain. And so is Whirlim. And combined, they're even worse. Because I'm trying to take Whirlim out of the equation. So we don't take him out of the equation, all of them are going to receive strengthen. And that's going to be very painful. You do not want them to receive strengthen at all costs. You do not. Because that's where these enemies get empowerment. It's not as much as, let's say, an actual champion empowerment, which, by the way, a lot of whales, people who spend way too much money on raid, actually have a lot of empowerments. And, that's annoying. Because they have a lot of free stats that they gain by doing so. So, yeah, it's not, I mean, they're definitely doing it to encourage the spending, but I don't, like, you don't need empowerment to progress. You might need the legendaries. You don't necessarily need legendaries, but it's very powerful to have them. But you don't need to empower them. You just need to have them available, maybe. Now there are substitutes that are cheaper than legendaries for a lot of purposes. But in some cases, you really just want to have the legendaries. Like, Drexstar, you really just want to have the Drexstar. Just get the fragments. Just do it. Get Rosin if you can, but he's really hard to get. Alright, good. Okay. Alright. We need the armature. 'Cause God forbid I have to deal with freaking Sifi with no block revive. Oh. Oh no. Okay. Okay, that helps. Oh, please. This is going to be both difficult and painful. Now you're like, why are we attacking the Santa more than everyone else? I'll tell you why. So we don't attack this Santa, they will all become invulnerable, and this will never end. So because this will literally never end, we're going to want to attack him and take Lydia out if we can. Because I don't need those literally making this a living hell. Because there is a world where this becomes a living hell. So I have to focus this Elegaeus, because I don't need the Elegaeus messing me up. Now, I would make puns about his name, but the puns are not... Let's just say the puns are not popular in the current social climate of the world. In my specific region specifically. So, I'm not going to make those puns. Alright. As you can see, the difficulty ramps up considerably as we climb to the very highest stretches of this tower. Oh joy. What we have here today. You see him? Hope you see him. Mashald. I'm sorry, but I had to do something about Mashald. Why? Because if I don't, we are going to be locked down and blown to smithereens and literally not be able to counterattack. Which hurts a lot. So that's why I focused him first. You're like, why are we focusing him first? Because, like I said, I'm not going to be able to move. All my characters are going to be locked, and they're going to be able to do anything they want, including go invincible because they have Sir Nick on their side. Because having both Sir Nick and Michaud on your side is an incredibly infuriating and incredibly scary thing to have. On top of having Livia, just if you thought that wasn't overkill enough. You're like, you know, the game hasn't overkilled enough. Oh my god. I'm about to blow your mind. I'm about to blow your mind with this. This is practically not it's practically impossible without Deacon, by the way, this floor. Because if you can't get all those extra turns in there, those people will mess you up much harder than you think. Be grateful this Sifi's slow. Because if this Sifi wasn't slow, we didn't be in for a world of hurt. Alright, that makes things way simpler. Okay. You're like, but you just took a bunch of provokes and damage. That doesn't really matter. The main storm is over. Because that Sifi was threatening to be extremely painful. Because she can make it so that they live forever and they are revived over and over and over and over again. Once you remove that, the equation becomes a lot simpler. Granted, we still have to deal with the army of Torments. And this guy, this Bellinor dude, who's causing me a world of hurt. He's still relatively weak for a Void Legendary, Bellinor. I'm going to be honest. For how rare Void Legendaries are, yeah, he's near the bottom of the food chain of Void Legendaries, Bellinor. He's not the bottom, but he's near there. Okay, so let's put War Maiden in there. That might improve things. I said, let's put War Maiden in there for the double decreased defense. You're like, what's the purpose of that, Papersmith? There's no need. That's all you know. Here's the deal. There's two main affinities of enemies in here. If we want to make it past quickly, we need a way... We need a way to put decreased defense on two different affinities separately. To have backup. This could end very bad. I want to warn you. Especially since I faced the wrong... I did the wrong target in. Hopefully... there's a reason I did that. Just to get them out of the way. Because we are in a place where... we're in the danger zone. If it wasn't clear. If it wasn't clear right now, even putting War Maiden in here is a very risky and dangerous proposition to Liechtenstein. But I'm willing to do it just to make sure that all the enemies have decreased defense on them. And so that Elegaeus does not resist. Because I do not need him to resist. Nor... need to get rid of Bastafis. Focus Elegaeus. So yes, she has an advantage to Deacon in a very specific regard in terms of affinity in here, but I'm having them work together try to take her out of the equation. You want to keep this decreased defense up. As much as possible. I'm so glad that I actually had my Sill booked, because that keeps these revive on a short cooldown. Okay, the decreased defense there should give me the win. I'm keeping the other decreased defense in reserve. In case that wears off. And there we have it. Now, floor 90 Celestial Griffin. Is extremely scary. Now, can anyone tell me why floor 90 Celestial Griffin is insanely scary? Bonus points for anyone who can tell me that. If you answered insanely high damage, you would be correct. There is a reason why I'm bringing as much decrease attack as I have. because without as much decrease attack as I have, this run is nearly impossible. That's right. This is nearly impossible. So that is ultimately why I'm bringing 3, count them, 3 decrease attack champs to the table. Because without, basically, 3 decrease attack champs of a good affinity, we have almost no hope. That is the bitter part about this boss. We have to try to get decrease attack on this boss at all points during this fight. That part's essential. Because this boss is very difficult to defeat otherwise. War Master is obviously preferred here. Keeping Provoke here is very useful. Keeping increased defense here is good. You're like, but this team is overkill on the defense. You either have to do that, or you have to throw Mr. Ninja in the equation. And since the amount of people that have played Ninja is dwindling, you still need the decreased attack, by the way, even with Ninja, because you're not going to burn this thing down. There's no easy way of burning this boss down. Like straight away. You need the decreased attack. At this point, not having the decrease attack land is imperiling, practically. Because the boss starts smacking for extremely high amounts of damage. Things become very spooky on this boss. Now we could put Drex in here to shorten the fight, so that's one method. You don't need Drex, but he's useful for this fight. Okay, decrease attack. This fight is very scary. Staying alive is almost entirely dictated at this point by, can we maintain this decrease attack? Oh, it's in the hands of the 3 now. Oh boy. Can we get this? Has to land this. 100% land rate. Cannot miss. Oh, he missed. That's bad. This could be the end. I think it might be the end. He has to land this shit. That still didn't work. Okay. Well, there's several ways around this. I'm telling you, this boss fight is really terrifying. And I want to make that abundantly clear for anyone who was thinking, oh, this fight isn't terrifying. That's all you know. Alright, we're going to put Drexthar into the mix to try to reduce the burden on my my DPS. Because, like, the longer that fight goes on, by the way, the scarier this boss fight becomes. So, it's better that we have some form of DPS to reduce the chances that, like, that we're gonna miss a decrease attack late in this fight. This, like, I'm not joking. The fear factor. The late game Griffin fear factor is just huge. I cannot emphasize to you enough how much of a fear factor this boss is. Like, I can't. This boss is incredibly scary. I just want everyone to know that. If there's any takeaway at all, is that Griffin is incredibly scary. Okay? This boss is phenomenally scary. Especially if you can't constantly land that all-important decrease attack. War Master buffs help too. Because the faster you can kill this guy, the better. Because then that stops him from retaliating super hard. The chain is only necessarily as strong as its weakest link. And I had to try to remove the Tyrell to try to get the people with the stronger builds involved. Okay, Drex is putting in the burns. We have a better chance now. Okay, decrease attack landed. This fight is scary. Every turn counts. Keep the decrease attack up. Tyrell was in there for the decrease attack. He ultimately failed in his goal. So that's why he was removed from the proceedings. Oh, this is so scary. Just trust me. Oh. Keep the burn up. Oh. Landed. As the closer you get to 20, the scarier this boss becomes. Oh. Oh. Okay, at least Syl is near full. Okay, please. Please, please, please. No. Come on. Oh, thank God. I don't care. The decrease attack landed. That's what we needed. That's what we needed. Come on. Yes, Tomb Fire. Okay. Don't die, Syl. Please. Please, please, please. Yes, decrease attack. Yes! Yes, you piece of trash. Yes! Get out of here. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, the boss is scary as sin. I'm sorry, the boss scares the living hell out of me. Next time we will be continuing up the tower. Oh, that boss. Oh. I hate Griffin 3 so much. Oh my God, floor 90 Griffin.